Hey mamas, I'm back with another episode of April Vlogs, the motherhood or motherhood, April music. And this is kind of just a quick one. I'm on my way. It's Saturday. I'm on my way with the kids here to Seattle. We're going to meet up with Daddy for some good vegan lunch today, so somewhere in Seattle. So anyway, I just wanted to do this one because I'm kind of stuck in traffic and there's really nothing better to do than to why not do a vlog. So this is kind of like a quick off the top of my head one about 5 ways that hacks that you can use to not gain weight as a mother and just stay healthy and fit. And number 1 is, and I've said this in other vlogs too, is to adopt a plant-based lifestyle. By eliminating animal products and dairy in your life, you automatically eliminate a lot of stuff that you just don't want in your body that causes you to gain weight as a woman, especially like dairy products and eggs and cheeses and high fat foods that aren't necessarily healthy good fat. Healthy good fat is like avocado, peanuts, any type of peanuts, any kind of nut basically that's not overly coated with sugars and things like that, so natural nuts and things like that. So adopting a plant-based lifestyle is definitely one, going vegan. Number 2 is basically knowing that you're an adult now and you have children, and when you go out to eat with them, you can't necessarily eat the same things as your kids. Although my kids are plant-based and vegan, same thing. They, oops, my phone just toppled over. It's very precarious on my car because I don't have one of those like things you slip your phone in. I just have it resting on this kind of ashtray in my car, so it's just barely up there. So excuse me for that. But anyways, the other thing is you just, you know, in my case, my kids are plant-based, and so, you know, it's tempting to want to eat as much as they do or eat some of the vegan desserts and things that my kids could eat. My kids can have a lot more food than I can. They can have fattier foods than me because they're growing and they're kids, you know, and so obviously they can have more of the milks than me. They can have heavy soy milk, which I don't really drink soy milk. I usually drink like almond or coconut milk. Even my kids notice that, you know, it's like there's certain things that I just can't have because I'm not a kid anymore. I'm in my 40s and I have a slower metabolism, and I have to be really careful with the amount of fats and oils, and even as a vegan, that I take in on a regular basis, because it all adds up. And you know, sometimes I can splurge and eat like a kid, but I can't have these cereals. Like my daughter eats a lot of cereal and stuff like that. I don't do a lot of cereal. I don't do a lot of the pastries. You know, I try to skip it out on some of that stuff. And it's hard. It's really hard, moms. I get it, because you're always around those things. Like your kids always want treats, and your kids always want something different than the, you know, veggies and, you know, healthy stuff. Even if you're an animal product person, you're probably going to be feeding, if you care about your kids, you're probably going to be feeding them more veggies and, like, you know, more serious stuff. And you just can't eat everything that your kids eat. You can't have like bowls and bowls of macaroni and cheese, vegan even. You just can't. You have to measure that kind of stuff, because that's how you gain the weight. Like, even, here we go again. Because that's how you, oh my goodness, okay, I'm gonna have to, even just like nibbling on like their leftovers can gain weight. Like I have done that, like sometimes, like thinking, oh, I just can't stand the thought of wasting food, so I might like eat some of their food just to, like, you know, feel less bad about wasting food or something silly like that. And really in the end, it's just like, learn to cook less, learn to proportion more, learn to save, and teach your kids how to eat leftovers. I know it's difficult. I struggle with that a lot, just like getting my kids to eat food from the day before. My kids really love a fresh taste every day, a new meal every day, and that's really challenging to come up with a new idea all the time, and also to like get them to eat things that have already been cooked and eat it again, like the stuff they've already had. So I get it, it's a challenge, but you just have to do that, you know, for your sanity, for everything, so you're not cooking like 24/7 around the clock and never getting a break. You know, sometimes taking your kids out is a relief because you don't have to do all that, but again, you have to be careful that you don't overeat and you don't eat going out anytime. You don't know what they're really putting in the food, you know, how many fats, how much salt, how much sugar, blah blah blah, you know, oils, all that is going into the food. You're just guessing. It's guesswork all the time. So you have to be really careful with eating out. That's a lot of how we gain our weight, especially as moms, is just not paying close attention to that, because we're paying more attention to our children and what they want and less attention to what we need or should want, you know. And just drinking, I say number 3 is just, moms, bring the water. I do it all the time. Bring tons and tons of water, gallon water, lots of ice, make it interesting, add mints, add blueberries, add strawberries. It just stops you from potentially maybe having one too many Starbucks a day, spending all that money on Starbucks. It prevents you from eating extra. If you're full of water, you're not going to most likely eat a lot more than you would normally. So it keeps you from binging and stuff like that on your kids' food, just kid food in general. I call it kid food. Anything that's fattening and sweet, anything like that, like I just call it kid food at this point. Because once you pass a certain threshold, you're an adult, and I think adults should eat a different way, you know. We can't be having 20 bowls of cereal a day, you know. We can't be, you know, it comes to a point where you shouldn't be doing that in your 20s, late 20s, 30s, and 40s, and going on, you know. I think, it's just my opinion, you know, do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, I just think there's a crossover where you're just like, okay, there's adult eating and there's kid eating. And then, so yeah, lots of water, lots of H2O. That's really important to get in your day. It's really important to stay hydrated, and it also curbs appetite. And I would say the 5th thing is just find that time. You know, I find my time, I don't call it me time because that's so lame, and every time I say me time, it makes me cringe, because it's like, what does that really mean, me time? Like, you're you all the time, so you need to like incorporate you with everything else that's going on around you. And me time is so lame because it's like, it's usually not really that much time that you're doing you anyway. If you are going to the gym, you're working on your body. Is that really, like, it is me time, but it's also work. It's not like you're sitting in a spa getting a facial, you know. That's like special time, if you want to say. That's like free time. That's like vacation, you know. I don't know if it's me time necessarily, you know. Me time to, like, maybe meditation is more me time, but I think like going and doing a workout at the gym is really just more work on top of work on top of work, which is what I do. So just getting in that exercise is so important. Getting, you gotta schedule it in. I go in the morning, like I go just about every day of the week unless circumstances don't allow me to go. That's how serious I take it. You don't have to go every day of the week like I do. You don't have to be excessive with your exercise. I'm a little bit of a fitness junkie. I love working out, but I love it. It's not just because like I'm trying to have a perfect body or anything like that, which I am for me, but it's not that. It's that I just like the process of exercise. I like designing my body. I like being in control of that. Like, I like the technique. I like studying new exercises. I like studying what you can do with weights, all the different, and I've gotten really into weightlifting lately, just like the fascination of like all the different ways you can lift weight and tone your body, and how the body works and how it gets redesigned through lifting weights is fascinating to me in some ways. So I don't know, I necessarily want to do that, like train people, but I think just like the study of it is what's interesting to me, how you can design the body in any way you want if you really put your mind to it. So yeah, getting up and finding that schedule, whatever it is, where you can get your fitness in. And that's work, ladies. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be necessarily leisurely me time. It's supposed to be like you're putting in the grind for your fitness, for staying fit and strong, and having a core and having a shape, and not necessarily just being skinny, but having like a tone and you know, getting fit. So I do that. I belong to a gym. I also have an apartment gym, and I also do yoga when I have time. I run a trail near my house when I have time, and I put in the effort. I make it part of my daily life schedule, and it's important to me. So, and if you want to stay fit as a mother, yes, you're running around chasing kids, but you're not necessarily getting the tone and all of that and the targeting that you need on certain areas. And I know you can't spot reduct and all that, but you need to tone, you need to stay fit and strong. And sometimes just chasing children is a good cardio thing, but it's not necessarily like going to keep your body in a shape and toned. So that would be my last thing, is just find that time to get to your gym or get outside and run, get some fresh air. That can also be meditative. You might not have time to sit like Buddha on a mountaintop and, you know, meditate and be all into it like that, but just getting out and getting into nature is really healthy spiritually and mentally, and taking the time to do that is really important. So I definitely suggest getting on some kind of schedule in that way. And I'm just gonna wrap it up like that, because I'm having a really hard time like vlogging with my phone in this, propped up on this particular space in my car. So I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Like I said, short and sweet vlog today. Trying to get more vlogs in more consistently, so this is what I'm doing. I'm just getting them in when I can. The lighting is really bad. I can barely even see my monitor on my phone, but my screen, I mean. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in again, and I will be back with another episode of April Vlogs, Motherhood, and April Music, and I will see you soon. Peace out, you guys. Love you. Bye.